Is modern dating a disappointment for you? Are you tired through and through of being in the same pattern when dating and nothing comes of it? Going on dates, talking, and nothing comes of it? Then you've come across the right video, and I hope by the end it provides you with something useful of some utility. Either it gives you relief, results, or helps you get into a better relationship with yourself. That it can help you strategize or re strategize your current strategy so that you can have more efficient results and end up having the kind of relationship you want. So, this video is condensed and it takes out a part that I did a 5-part video on series on Patreon, actually audio series on Patreon. I think one might be a video called Let Love In, where I discuss and break down certain barriers to love. And then we also go through an exercise where I'm talking and we can go through finding out what we want and then how to get it. So this is just a little condensed portion of that series. But in my opinion, it's the most important one. So if you could just listen to this, then I hope that it helps you. So in the modern age, I'm speaking about the West, not any other part of the world. In terms of courtship practices, or rather lack thereof, we don't really have courtship practices anymore in Western modern culture and dating, etc. So we tend to do things digitally now, primarily. We communicate digitally through apps, not so much even phones like we used to, just call each other and get a vibe. We used to understand, oh, this is the kind of person I want to bother putting in the effort to meet, or not. If you don't have chemistry on the phone and that person's not really articulate in the way that you are, then you just kind of keep it moving. We don't even text, that feels too intimate. We do things through like some third party, first would be in person, second would be the phone number, but even that we don't do anymore. We communicate through social media apps and we tend to swipe on people on dating apps. So I think some sort of cross pollination of information is going on. And this is the way that my brain simply makes sense of this. So I'm going to try my best to articulate it here for you today and that it may make sense to you. And if it makes sense to you, then I hope that you can apply it and get better results. And this is a sort of, I don't know if it's masking, I don't know if it's marketing, if it's a veil, if it's a farce, or if it's just like an innocent blunder where human beings have confused two things: intimacy and familiarity. So if you would like to know more, please go to my Patreon. It's under Guru Grit. All my social media is under Guru Grit. You can find me on gurugrit.com. Book with me there. If you don't want an astrological service, if you want a coaching service, dating advice, whatever, just email me and we can sort something out. So find me on Instagram. I'm on TikTok a lot, etc. But intimacy and familiarity. So now to get into the real meat of it, this is, in my opinion, the most prominent thing that you can observe. If a friend tells you you've been speaking to this person for 2 weeks or a month, and then they drop me, or I cut them off, or I blocked them, and I wasn't really interested, da da da. Of course, when you meet people in person, you get to know them really quickly because you can sense them. Okay, we're mammals, we're a social mammal. We are animal first in some way, right? We are animals first. So you can sense them, but we don't even do that now. So you can talk to a person for days, weeks, or even months only to have nothing come of it. And this is the reason why, in our age, because of this constant exposure, we have confused familiarity with intimacy, and they are not the same thing. It can be a little bit nuanced, such as you can say, Monica, that's the silliest thing I've heard. Of course, it's the same thing. This person has my phone number. They know where I live. We are obviously intimate because I trusted them with that information. Fine. Your biggest hater is familiar to you because you know they don't like you. You might even know why they don't like you. That doesn't mean that you're intimate with them. The government has all the above mentioned information and more. It doesn't mean you're intimate with the government or the system. Your employer That doesn't mean that you're intimate with them. And this is one of the primary reasons, even as a child, intuitively, I rejected celebrity culture. I just thought it was bizarre to fawn over someone you don't know who literally couldn't care less about you. Actually, they need you more than you need them. You make their wealth, they don't do anything for you because of that familiarity. You are exposed to them. So you feel a kind of attachment to them, but it isn't really there. There's no intimacy. Do you see? So their work could affect your life, maybe even in a beautiful way through their music or their art or their style or anything, their advice. Okay, fine. But you're not intimate with them, right? So there is a difference. And so what we've done when we're dating is, here's a very practical example. You meet online, you talk every day, or you meet in person. They text you all the time on WhatsApp or Instagram or something, and it just stays there. It never goes anywhere else. So you're never given the opportunity to know them deeply. But now that you've invested something in them, this is like the sunken cost fallacy, because you've spoken to them for a week or two or a month, you don't want to back out now because you don't want to know that you've wasted your time. But truthfully, you the one of the keys to success is actually knowing when to stop hemorrhaging your resources, is to stop hemorrhaging, investing your money in things that are just not going anywhere, or your time, your energy, your creativity. Just cut it off and keep moving. Learn what you need to and keep moving. But this is basically what happens. You know their height, you know their appearance, their eye color, where they work, where they live, what they like to read, what they like to drink, what they like to eat. If they have an allergy, if they have siblings or dogs or cats or something. Okay, so you think you're intimate with them. You're just familiar with their persona. It's not even their personality. It's their image. It's their persona. So that familiarity doesn't translate to intimacy, even though in a healthy world it would. But this isn't a healthy world. The world is a sick place, and it's a wicked place. I would even add to that. It's a Sunday, so I'm feeling the fire. But yeah, it's not a sane place. Okay, it's not even a good place. I would say it's a place of great contrast. Take it to another level where now we've normalized hookup culture. You'll say that person should treat me better, XYZ, because we've laid together. Okay, you're physically familiar. They've seen you naked. That doesn't mean that you're intimate. Yes, you're literally physically been intimate. It doesn't mean that there was intimacy. Not necessarily, because they could have done the same thing with 35 people last week. The difference between the two surpasses information. Familiarity is the acquisition of knowledge about another. That is when you're familiar with them. That is an acquaintance. To be intimate with somebody transcends that. It's to take that information and then experience that person. And there's only one way to do that, and that is through the act of vulnerability, mutual vulnerability. So if you're sleeping with someone and only one of you is feeling vulnerable, it's not intimacy, it's just familiarity. Unless you're both vulnerable together, you're healthy, you're communicative, you're open, and you're willing to try, then it's not intimacy. It's still just step one, familiarity. And this is really scary because a lot of the online things where you can talk to many people for extended periods of time, that again goes nowhere, discard them, dispose of them, block them, erase them for whatever reason. Some reasons are really good, right? But never let it get off that platform. Then when we are dispensed with, we feel hurt, but we do it to each other. And it's maddening. It's madness, right? This is not healthy adult thinking. This is not healthy behavior. It's not healthy adult behavior. So this is where we get stuck. This is where we get stuck with this constant exposure of, what do you like to read? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? Where do you work? Blah, blah, blah. A lot of the time, people defend this line of inquiry. They'll say, of course, I'm going to ask where you live and work. I'm trying to get to know you. But honestly, I've tried to explain it like this and I've just stopped, because why am I giving free advice to people who don't want it? It's like, it's a waste of my own time. Like, pay me for it or I'm just leave. If you're not going to apply it, it's a waste of my effort or energy, right? It's that dating is supposed to be fun. So if you're asking me the same thing other people are asking me, You're not clued into the fact that now I'm not having fun answering these questions. And I know you're not going to have fun if I ask those questions. So I don't ask those questions. And people will defend that by saying, but they just want to get to know you. That's why they're asking where you work. Most people don't identify very intimately with their profession. Even if they did, even if they adored it, it's their day off. They're on a date. They probably don't want to talk about work, right? So, what you do when you speak to people is you want to get to know their character. You're inquiring about the quality of human being that they are. Are your values in alignment? Vision for the future? Do you handle problems well? Are you funny? Are you lighthearted? Are you serious? What's your, who are you? Those are the things that you really, really want to go after. So, this is what's going to help you tap into a sense of vulnerability. And I feel like vulnerability gets a really weird skew. It's skewed in the minds of a lot of people, especially immature people. I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying it's like childish and silly being like, I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to trust. I want to be guarded. I want to protect myself. Then you shouldn't be dating because a relationship has zero barriers. When you're in love, when you're married, um, to become one. So you should go forth courageously, trusting yourself and trusting life. Okay, of course, you need sense. Like you do have to protect yourself. You do have to know about safety precautions, etc. Right? But again, that's to say, if you're getting to know someone, you have to get to know them beyond what you can learn about them on paper, because this also serves to protect you. Because when you're telling people, I work here, I do this, I like to drink matcha, like, or instead of espresso or whatever, that's not very intimate. It's familiar. So what that actually does to you is it causes you to perceive meaning where there might not be any. I don't know who I'd like to, I don't know who the creator on TikTok said, I don't enjoy endless texting with somebody because it creates a false sense of, I think she said closeness or something like that. It creates a false sense of something. But yes, it's a false sense of security. It's an idea or a notion of a bond, a notion of a relationship where one does not really exist. And then that person, by being closed off to you, but extracting information from you and giving you meaningless surface level information about themselves as well, like where they work or live, again, doesn't make you who you are. So who really cares, Um, they feel like they're off the hook. They can block you and let you go at any point because they were never vulnerable. They were never showed you who they were, right? And you don't even know. Pardon me, like you don't even really know because it was just so whatever you could find on Facebook or something. That's, that's so what? You want to know who they really are on the inside. And this pays off to know because there is a very tangible hierarchy to love and relationships, right? Like you see believers, they'll say God first. Divine love is like what my life's about. Then they'll put their family, their mother and father or their wife and husband and then their children and then their sibling or whatever, right? So clearly, like I was talking about media earlier, okay, you can have a favorite artist, but if there was a catastrophe, you're not running to like Taylor Swift's house or whoever, you're like thinking about your mom, you're thinking about your kids. I'm thinking about my cats. I'm thinking about my friends, right? That's the truth. So when you think about familiarity versus and or intimacy, you have to sit there and go, okay, where would I put this person in this hierarchy? And also, where would I fall in their hierarchy? If you don't actually know where you would land in their mind, then you're probably not very important to them. That's the truth. And they probably would never tell you to your face. But if you're unsure, that's all you need to know. So, what distinguishes one from the other is vulnerability and depth, awareness, seeing into the other person. So, you can say, um, for example, let's say there's a lot of talk about gold diggers and 50-50. You can say, I know this woman wants to be provided for. That's familiarity. You can say, I know most women do. That's familiarity. Intimacy is knowing why. Why? Did her father have a gambling problem when she was a child and left them destitute? Were they struggling while growing up? Did she have a really bad experience? Was she made fun of for something in elementary school? Like she didn't have the newest Nintendo or something, or some shoes that she got made fun of? Is she traumatized? Was she an immigrant? What happened? Did they lose their family fortune during the crash? Like, what happened that she is now scarred and jarred? Did she have sexual harassment in the workplace that she just doesn't want to engage in the corporate world or whatever? That's why she's looking for a provider. That's intimacy. To know what makes that person prefer that, what makes them tick. So to know your partner's mood before they even speak and tell you their mood, because you can read the little lines in their face, that's to be intimate. Okay, you can recognize them walking towards you. You're familiar with them, but to read them is intimacy. So that's the difference. We could take an example for a man. Maybe, a man wants to be shown that he's appreciated and praised. Maybe he didn't get any growing up. No one told him he was good at anything. He just figured it all out himself. He stayed out of trouble when he could have taken an easier path to make some quick money. He chose not to. He chose to be a person of integrity or honesty or hard work and effort. Maybe, yeah, like some people like being babied. Why? Was he neglected? Did he just not have a lot of intimacy growing up in the home? And he likes a back scratch. He likes his lunch packed, but know why. Know why. So before dismissing people, we should understand what it is that they desire, but why they desire it. And I did say that in this series. I was like, it's one thing to know what you want, but to really know why you want it will set you free. Most people will say that they want a relationship. They really can't tell you why. They can't. And if they do, they often don't give a very good reason, no offense, especially if they're young. It's like, because everyone else is doing it, or they're bored, or it seems exciting, it seems fun. The best answer I've heard, which I've discussed on Patreon, one of my patrons, she said, I'm ready for a relationship. I asked, I said, why do you want one? She said, it's now necessary for my soul's evolution. This is the best answer I've ever heard in my entire life. You've got your education, you've got your career, you've seen the world, you've traveled, you've done what you wanted. You're trying to push yourself. Now you've created your own personality and happiness, but now to co-create with another is far more exciting. And see, that's intimacy. So now I've seen inside her mind, and I know she's going to attract an intelligent, thought-provoking, kind, interesting person, right? Because she's thinking these things already. So whoever she meets up with is going to probably have the same mental output, like really beautiful mental thoughts. So, and a beautiful, enriched spiritual life. Okay. So those things are good. Right, Mila? Yeah. So another thing too is that you could look for certain things on a dating profile. Like I mentioned, travel, you've seen the world. Okay. This is another one. Learn to read. When you see too many patterns crop up on the apps, just steer clear. Just steer clear. So I remember when Tinder first came out, I think it was maybe like 10, 11 years ago, something like that. It was, I don't know why, it was like trendy for people to talk about how many countries they've been to, which is great. Young people should see the world. It's wonderful, right? And then some people still do it now. They'll put like 30 whatever flags, or they've been to 50 countries. It's something they really enjoy or whatever. Someone pointed out to me, and it blew my mind because I never talk about it. I was 11 months old the first time I sat on a plane. I've been mobile my whole life. It's not that it's not impressive and I'm in an arrogant way. It's that because of experienced travel from such a young age, I am aware it's kind of what you make it. So it doesn't mean anything to me. And I could never really understand why that didn't like connect for me as someone who does do those things until someone said to me, she goes, that's because travel isn't an actual characteristic like anybody can do. You could put a dog on a crate on a plane. It doesn't like enrich it. And I thought, actually, yeah, that's true. Anybody can travel, truly. They can fly cadavers overseas. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that was a grim example, but it doesn't mean that the person learns anything. So that's a thing. That's a difference between being traveled and cultured. You can be one without the other. So you should learn. Like when I see that on a profile, I feel like that's cute and that's nice and everything. And I think that's admirable. But Again, I don't feel that there's an intimate connect to that. I can sense an intimate person based on how they use their words. You could sense that when you read the profile of a man or a woman that says, like, look, I want someone who's communicative, has fun, is interested in learning about my hobbies and letting me into their life so I can learn about theirs. Oh, that's an open hearted person. Oh, that's a person who'd like to communicate. Fine. A person who just lists off what they're into, or when they have some of those prompts like, you should not go out with me if, and they start listing all kinds of things. You don't believe in aliens, you do believe in aliens, you're woo woo, you're vaccinated, you're not vaccinated, you're this, not. Just ciao. Like, you already decided that, like, you're discounting people before you've even given them a chance, which, okay, again, I understand some people have hard boundaries against whatever you they want to advertise it. That's totally fine. But if you're looking for a refined, diplomatic, sort of gentle person, that's probably not the way to go. So you have to know what you want and why you want it, and then roll with it. So if you see a profile that says, I want a stay-at-home partner, but you're really a driven sort of person, then I just don't swipe on those. Like, I like to work, I like to be busy. If someone says, again, I don't want to support my partner, well, then even if they just say it's financial, to me, I just think no, immediately no, because when two become one, everything that's mine is yours, vice versa. So we will completely be blended. So again, just based on that language, I'm, disqualifying that person. So that's just the thing. You have to pay attention to language, and it's not as nuanced as you think. Once you start to divorce intimacy from familiarity, even if it hurts you, even if you're like, I've been sleeping with this person for 6 months, what's going to happen? You know all you need to know. If they're not as intimate with you as you are with them, they're not as vulnerable with you as you are with them, keep it moving. And maybe we'll have to do another part where I discuss, basically, like, I don't even want to call it reconciliation. There's nothing to reconcile, but I also feel another issue with the modern times is, like, as I started saying, like, people think if they swipe on their soulmate, they'll never have a problem. You'll always have problems because you're people, you're human beings, and you didn't meet the day you were born. Like, you can meet at the age of 12, you're going to have differences. Now, if you meet 25 and up, 30 and up, especially 35 and up, 40 and up, forget it. I can't even imagine 50 and up. You are fixed, your personality set. So everyone you come across, even a friend or an acquaintance, you're going to clash on some version of opinion, like something, like foods or lifestyle, politics, whatever, right? But you have to be willing to make it work. And I feel a lot of people don't. I think a lot of people really live with their head in the clouds and they think, oh, my perfect person wouldn't this and that. Your perfect person would not violate the sanctity of your humanity. Outside of that, anything can be fixed. So as long as they're not, insulting you, degrading you, dehumanizing you, all that crazy stuff, right? If they're in alignment with your values, they drink coffee, you drink tea, that's not a deal breaker. Like, I don't think, like, you love cheesecake, they hate cheesecake. It's a piece of cake. Like, who cares about cake? Big things. I mean, like, big things. Okay. So little things you should be able to remedy. So I'm thinking that might be an idea to talk about, because I feel we're too comfortable now. We're too much in the habit of, oh, they said this, I don't agree with that. So after 6 months, I just, like, blocked and deleted them or whatever. Unless it was, like, crazy, then we don't need to take such extreme measures. But that's for another time. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't fool yourself. Don't dupe yourself. Familiarity and intimacy, they're not the same. To be intimate is to be vulnerable. It's to be able to kind of know what that person is feeling, thinking, and wanting without uttering a word so much as a full sentence, okay? Like, not even, they could just kind of look low, they're low, you go get them their favorite candy bar, or you give them a compliment. Um, Familiarity can be faked, and it can be spread very thin. You could be familiar with your government, your neighborhood, your adversary. Most people are familiar with what they dislike, but they're only intimate with the things that they actually like and enjoy. Okay. I hope this helps. Um, yeah, thank you so much for watching and listening. And I'm hoping to use, just want to thank you again for all your support and staying in contact with me, hyping me up on Instagram and TikTok, and being so lovely to me and staying in touch with me. As you know, I've Some of you know, some of you don't. I've gone back to my studies and I'm really up against it again this year. So, yeah, I've just sort of had to minimize how much I can put out, but I'm still doing what we agreed upon, and I'm always happy to answer questions. I have so much fun doing this. And the next thing on Patreon that I'm working on, I'm hoping to have it in May, is a series on wealth principles. So someone asked me on TikTok this year, can you please, please, please? Actually, they did a vote and money won out, beat out love. Amen. That was a joke for those who didn't get it. It's like, it's fun. It's nice to get your bag. Um, but they wanted to do biblical principles of wealth. Okay, so I've got 5 or 6 books. I'm on my second one, starting the third, or I'm going to compile it, break it down in a series. We might do a live class as well. If you're interested, do it, like we could record it on Zoom and then put it out after, and go come with like a PDF with some exercises and like recaps. So that's kind of what's been on my mind, along with my books and other things, life just happening. So thank you so much for being there for me and being really encouraging and kind. And yeah, until next time, I love you all. Bye for now, and good luck out there. And remember, if you feel like you've been duped, there is good news, because if it happens once, then it can't happen again, because you can read the signs. So just now that you know the difference between the two, you can set yourself free. Amen. Thank you so much. I hope you've had a beautiful day. Bye for now.